Once again, we're in one of my favorites. And if you haven't quite figured out from where I'm shooting this video from or starting it, you could probably also figure out who the listing agent is. This house is unique. And it's also pretty dang special. So let's get into it, shall we? So yes, we are starting this in the bathroom because that, by the way, is a solar tube that comes into the bathroom sideways, not from directly up in the ceiling. And look at those ceilings. So we're in Streng. It is a Steve Streng listing. So in true fashion, we start in what room? So if you're fans of the channel, you know exactly where. But anyway, this place is unbelievable. So we are in just the standard bathroom, not the primary bath, but there is a laundry room within the bathroom. This is the biggest Streng Brothers bathroom I've ever been in, because instead of having a separate laundry room, which, you know, in the later homes, there would have been a wall coming across here and it would have been two doors. One would have been the laundry room, one would have been a bathroom. It's just all knocked into one. And then this house has these wood panel ceilings. Why? This house is house number 5. It's a very early Streng, 1960. It actually ties for 5th place. I've seen some comments on a Facebook group. Someone looked at the permit dates, and there's 2 houses pulled on this very date in 1960. So this ties for 5th place. It's early. So it's unreal. It's just an amazing house. But we're going to do always front door first. So let's go. And it's a really good front door. So let's go look here. So we're in a carport. That, as you can see, is a very, very, very original front door. And that is a carport. And it's not a myth. That is Steve Streng, as I've already thanked him in the video as the listing agent. It was, there he is again. But anyway, it was a nice surprise to catch him here to start this video. So there we go, folks. But his sign is up. There's an open house this weekend too. But anyway, let's get a look at this front door. There it is. And those are all over this house. It is impressive how original this house is. Don't get me wrong, there are some things on it that need to be undone, corrected if you really wanted to, but it's not much. So with it being an early house, it is a raised foundation. That you will not see on a lot of Strengs. Is a step up to the front door. Usually it's straight in, because on the early houses, the HVAC ductwork was under the floor. So you come in, there's that beautiful front door. This has probably been tiled over. That would have been originally, like I said, a pebbled ash, but it is what it is. And there's the front door. So when you walk into these homes, the earlier ones, primary, straight down there. So let's just go do that first, because there's something that's, like I said, this house has had 2 additions or add-ons done to it. Both I like. I think they're really good. So that is the primary bath. It is your standard Streng Brothers primary bath. Shower stall, toilet, sink. It's been modified a little bit. That's definitely not original. But again, another solar tube. And in solar tubes, you do need a little bit of length to the tube to make them work. It's like a reflective actual tube. So you can see these have been added but dropped down. See, there's the beam. And so you've got this, they're on the bottom of the beams. So that gives you a little bit of a tube. Because it's a reflective tube. You have a dome on top, and then there's a tube which has a reflective material on the interior of it. And then there's this lens on the bottom, and that's what refracts the light. There's your beautiful window openers. There's a ton of light in this bathroom. The primary is this little tiny light. There's not much. Floors run, these are original wood floors. They run the right direction. It's perfect. It really is. There's a closet. built in, of course, not the original doors. Easy to fix. But off of this primary is they built this like sunroom. It is massive. Not a big fan of the fans, as you know, but they're here. I'd find another way to get air going around here, but there is a vent from the house. So this, you could, I don't know how cool you would keep it with this, with the sun, maybe some, I don't know how you would do shades, but there's got to be a way to, you could really control the temperature in here quite easily. I think it wouldn't be that hard to do, but this would be great as a sitting area off of the primary. I would look at it some way if there's any way to run water out here and have like a little coffee bar. That'd be kind of nice. And that fence is looking pretty dang brand new to you guys. The roof is brand new. So like I said, this is a really original Streng. And then these ceilings, these are everywhere. As you saw in the video, I got to talk to Steve today. Always makes my day when I see him. I had a kind of a lousy week, so he doesn't know it, but he really made my day this morning. He's like, oh, it's just a shit week this week, but pardon my French. But anyway, that definitely perked me up. But these ceilings, they're probably, as Steve was saying, they're probably just too expensive, and sheetrock was cheaper. So in the later homes as they got going, yeah, that was just, you know, they went with sheetrock. So it's really rare to see this. Now, there was a Facebook group where I saw a comment, one about this being house number 5. And then someone else made a comment, too bad about the Tiffany style lamps. You're the least of your troubles, because you know why? You ready for this? And you probably just saw it in camera. Look at this. Oh, they painted the fireplace. That's one of you on the channel has looked. I don't think they fixed theirs. They actually just repainted it a more palatable color. But they looked at the cost of stripping that down, and it's about $3,000. They ended up going with a sandblaster. He was out of the Bay Area because the primary concern is taking the edge off of these blocks. And this is really thick. I can feel it now that I touch it. So it's not a cheap fix, but I would fix it. I would. I wouldn't worry about the Tiffany style lamps. That's a screwdriver and a flick of a switch so you don't light yourself up on the panel, but that's easy. But I would fix it. I really would. I'd put the effort into it. So front door, primary, hard right, kitchen. That, folks, is a very early, very original kitchen. This is my favorite material in the whole wide world, Formica. Because the sink is in the center island, this is not done as a table. It is countertop height. As you know from Strengs, this is not a counter. It's usually done as a table. This being an earlier home, and they put the sink over here, it's countertop height. There is a coffin. As I have learned doing this recently, those are the original hardware knobs. So very cool. This is probably not original to the house, but it would have been a cooktop nonetheless. And then double oven, same thing, definitely not original to the house, but at some point replaced. A massive fridge, not original. This house, the other addition to this house is a 4-foot addition to the side of the home of this room. And so there it is. I believe this is where it was added. So they added on, Steve even told me they added on 4 feet. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure if they went out that way or if they went out behind me. Steve did tell me if I look at the beams, I can see where the original wall was. But anyway, either way, see that? That doesn't belong. I don't know why that's there. It is what it is. But anyway, I would take that out and put in a pre-way fireplace, which are obviously, as we've discussed, are no longer made. But you can find them used. But there's another company, if you really are against putting in a wood burning stove and want to go gas or electric, it's a company called MAALM, M-A-A-L-M. They now make brand new pre-way copies. They are the same price-wise as buying a restored original pre-way, but they'll be electric or gas. but they won't be wood burning. But I would go wood burning. I would take the effort and go find an original pre-way and restore it, because you're still going to be out the $3,000 that a mom costs. Yes, they're that expensive. They're not cheap. So we're going to come down here. This being an early house, HVAC under the floor. See this ceiling on this hallway? It is, you cannot touch. That is a regular standard height ceiling. And as you saw, has 3 solar tubes in it. I've never been in a Streng where the hallway is this well, just flooded with light. That is the only light. That light is not producing this much light. It's all coming from these solar tubes. It is amazing. Like I said, floors are original. They all run correctly, front to back. That is that bathroom we started the video in. Sorry, Steve. But anyway, water heater, oh boy. That is looking extremely new. There's an expansion tank. So that's, like I said, Sacramento County started requiring that about 5-6 years ago. That's definitely newer than 5-6 years. Double strapped, which is got code these days. That's really nice. Next door, that's going to be your HVAC. That also, that's definitely not original. I don't know how old it is, but it's not original. Like I said, the roof is brand new on this house. And let's get away from some noise. And look at these. Those are the original hinges. They've been kind of half painted. I found a couple that are completely both sides, but these need to come off, strip them, put them back up. Again, in the primary, I'm sorry, this is the front bedroom, not a primary. Apologize. Solar tubes. The amount of light they generate is astounding. Walk-in closet. Now, not the original light this would have had. These would have had the ones with the pull chain. So there's a switch on the outside of this room. Look at these ceilings. This is a special Streng. You're really getting a very original house with some restoration, but not much. Your biggest expense is going to be that stripping the paint off that fireplace. Closet in the corner. Same thing, light switch. That's not the original light fixture that would have been used. But, I mean, amazing. And then another bedroom. Like I said, see these floor vents? They all need to come out. It's just not the style of the house. Built-in closet again. These ceilings are just something else. Amazing. Wait to see the garden. Probably got a glimpse out of the windows as I've been walking around, but this you've got to see. So let's head on out. So we are past our Tiffany lamp. That does have to go. Anyway, ready for this backyard? All right, here goes. It is huge. Some fruit trees. There's a nice little dining area. These windows are my favorite because you can put plants in them, and you can have, and then see in the kitchen, just goes the full whack down. It's interesting because on the later homes, that would have been a double slider. So when this was originally built, they did those windows, or I'm assuming when they did, like I said, I don't know which way this house was extended out, if it was brought out this way or it went out to the side. But I'm assuming it was probably out to the side, but that, later homes, that was a double slider. So this one has a slider off through the kitchen, because what's on the side of the house, you ask? Well, a homeowner's or a kid's dream and an insurance company's nightmare. So it's nice to see. Do not take this part of this house out. You will never ever get to put it back in. They are grandfathered in. So don't listen to your insurance agent. They'll probably charge you a pretty penny for leaving it in, but just leave it in. They're fun. You ready? Alister, it's just a pool. Yes, it is just a pool. But it's a pool with a diving board. They're not allowed anymore. Leave it in. They're grandfathered in. That's an amazing pool. It is a pool that you could do laps in, just long enough. So it's got a smooth wall here, smooth wall there. My favorite kind of pool. I hate kidney-shaped pools. What's the point? I like a pool you do laps in. There is sort of a hot tub built in at the bottom, at the base here. Pool equipment is back here, out of the way. which is nice. There's a shed here. Oh, lawnmower. So yeah, kind of a little shed, like a lean-to. But there we go. And then look, there's the whole side of the house. And like I said, we're on a raised foundation because this you're not going to see on a typical Streng, which is steps up. And it's just beautiful. The fence, like I said, on that side's new. That looks very original. But heck, you know, does it need replacing? It's getting there. But got a few more years life left in it. But it will need some love at some point. But again, see how these decks, they're all raised because this is on a raised foundation. But look at that yard. It's stunning. So this house is another favorite, and it's tied for 5th one built. It's very early. So how do you, if you don't go look up city records, how do you know in Streng lore, Streng history, if it's an early house? Here's the very first takeaway. When they first got started, so Bill and Jim Streng, their uncle got them started. So they actually didn't build with Carter Sparks at first. When they first moved here from Philadelphia, they were in town for 2 years, just building tract homes. And then they partnered up with Carter Sparks, and that's how this got started, 1960. So how they got rolling by themselves was I think it was their uncle, sold them some lots. And it was random lots because we're on a cul-de-sac. Another brilliant place about cul-de-sacs, the only reason you need to be on it is because you live on it. Thieves don't rob houses on cul-de-sacs because there's only one way out. So we're in a Streng. I'm just going to pan this around. See this neighborhood? There is a mid-mod over there. I don't think that is a Streng, but none of these houses match this house. The house you're going to be calling me to buy. Just kidding. Well, I hope you do. But anyway, so that's one of the tells is on the early homes. There was not a clump of them. It was just one random house. That's how they did it. And then something else that I've seen in closing, I always talk about this because it is a pet peeve. And frankly, it's not safe. It is to code, but the code I disagree with. That is a carbon monoxide sensor. Carbon monoxide is a heavy gas, so it sits on the floor and rises. When they're at that height, and that's legal, by the way, that's the code, that's allowed. It just basically when it's going off and your neighbors have done a welfare check because they haven't seen you in a few days, not beeping like crazy, it just tells law enforcement, EMTs, fire department, probably need some bags because unfortunately the people inside will be deceased. Put them on the floor. As I kid you not, like as low as you can get them where you're not kicking them with a vacuum cleaner and damaging them. So, I don't know, 10 inches tops, put them there. If someone gives you a hard time, say what needs to be code has to be, shoulder height-ish, put a second one up. But for peace of mind, for common sense, put one down here. It's not hard to fix. It's super easy to do. It'll save your life because, like I said, carbon monoxide is a dense gas. It builds up and then fills the space. It doesn't sit high and then expand down. It expands up, if that makes any sense. So, but there you go. Off my soapbox for the day. But yeah, so all right. There we go, folks. It is an absolute pleasure. Steve, I know we just crossed paths today when we met here. That was not intentional, but you really made my day. Like I said, I had a really crappy week, so it was really nice just to chat with you. Thank you very much. Folks, if you do want to see this house, please reach out, give me a call. I'll gladly represent you as the buyer. If you've gotten this far in the video and you're watching, thank you again. I really appreciate when people take their time. There's one of you that did win the contest. Yes, life took a left turn on me. That will be going out. You did win. So you know who you are. I know who you are. You did reach out. I got your email. So I will get that out to you shortly because I've got to get your address. So I will respond back to you. So I apologize for taking a little bit too long on that. It's been a couple weeks, but there we go. So anyway, folks, once again, my name is Alister, your host, the Modernist. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please like, subscribe. Feel free to comment, of course, too. And be good to each other, humans. Bye-bye.